Hey friends, just Christina, and I want to spell out a couple of things with RFID and 5G. So if you are a follower of Marfugal News or Richie from Boston, we have already had the discussion numerous times on 5G and RFID. People are saying, I won't take the mark, I won't get it in my hand, I won't get it in my forehead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are already carrying it with us, and we have it in a couple of forms. So this is from The Mark Is Ready Are You by Ron Steele. And I have been covering this, but I want to skip ahead a little bit because this is talking about the Human Transponder Surveillance Command System. And essentially, it was implemented and it was studied by the Los Alamos labs in the 70s. And what they were doing is they were using these Nimbus satellites, Nimbus, and they had different satellites that implemented the study of how to track animals, if you will. And the satellites would send the microwaves, and they would receive signals from the RFID chips or the transponders. So back then they had perfected this, and actually as a little side project at the time, Los Alamos was also doing a laser tracking testing, and once they perfected that, they turned that over to DARPA. I'm not even kidding. This is stuff you cannot make up. So what they had done, they were going up in airplanes and they were dropping flies out of the planes, and they were using the lasers to track the flies. And so they had perfected that also. So anyway, back to 5G. The transponder, or RFID, requires a wave signal to activate it. It evokes a response as it is receiving that microwave. So if you are around 5G towers that are every 1,000 feet, if you will, every 800 to 1,200 feet, or whatever they say, the number always changes. So 1,000 feet, okay? Every time you go by the next one, it's going to roll your signal over to the next tower. And so they'll be able to track everywhere you go. They'll know what cards you have in your pocket. Even if you don't have any cards, they'll know who you are because your driver's license. Like, do you think that the star card is just to keep you safe from flying? TSA are ruthless. And I will never fly again because of TSA, because of an incident that happened with a TSA agent, which is really unfortunate because it wasn't an overall bad experience other than that. So, okay, the star cards that you're getting, you cannot renew that by mail. You have to go to the DMV. You have to get a facial profiling, facial recognition photo taken, and it uploads it as a new photo into this human facial recognition system. And it's going to make it very, very easy for anyone, anywhere. So like, let's say I live in Boise and I'm vacationing in West Yellowstone, and I have a warrant out for my arrest for whatever reason, which I don't, but like hypothetically. And I go into a store there, so I don't think there's any Walmarts there, but let's say I walked into a Walmart somewhere and they scanned my face and recognized my face. Well, you can truly not hide anywhere you go because of these facial recognition systems. All of the new cameras and technology and security that they have put into my city, they spent $90 million on more than 90 construction projects last year in my city just to put up new light poles and redirect the traffic from 2 lanes down to 1 lane. They really made it a lot worse. So as you are going on your daily commute, they'll know if you're late. They'll know if you didn't take that way today. They'll know if you took an alternate route. They'll know where you go. They'll be able to always track you. And they'll know who you are, not just by your facial recognition or by your license plate, which is also a different trackable control system. And initially they wanted to have so it's not just animals or people that are moving, it's any moving thing. So this is also part of our license plate and our recognition that way. It's boats, it's planes, it's everything has an ID number. Okay, so they're able to track you everywhere you go. So why did they give you the converter boxes for your TV? Well, we all know why. The government doesn't give you anything for free unless it benefits them. They needed to clear up the airspace so these microwaves were uninterrupted, and 5G is exponentially greater than 4G, if you want to use the word greater. It's just more capable of picking up everybody's RFID location who happens to be in that quadrant at that specific time. And my area in Boise has grown. We're at about 750,000 people now. So we really need the capacity. They need the capacity. I don't think we need them at all. I think it's just surveillance state. But they needed the capacity in larger cities, even way larger than Boise, like Los Angeles and Dallas and New York. They have towers literally every 1,000 feet apart because they're capable of absorbing, like, I don't even know the crazy number, 185 billion signals per tower. It's just crazy. So the 5G and the RFID go hand in hand. And the RFID will always be sending out a signal because it will always be picking up the microwave signal from 5G towers. And incidentally, this is the same wavelengths that the coincidental DARPA lasers and the testing that they had done, that they had passed over to DARPA from Los Alamos, those lasers are on similar frequencies. So it's true that energy has the power to harm or the power to heal, and it depends on the concentrated wavelength and frequency of that waveform that will ultimately cause cell damage. Some of the wavelengths, if they're concentrated enough, they can even just cause your cells to explode, and that's that. And it would suck if that happened on a large scale, right? Because then you'd just explode. But look up the Nimbus satellites. Look up the Los Alamos Human Transponder Surveillance Command System tests and be amazed. Okay, thanks for joining me.